ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I'll do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. Do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up.
Good evening, Savannah. What's up? That's your boy Julius Campbell and your partner Fred Green. He's in live with me. What's going on, Fred? How you doing?
Man, I'm cooling, man. Talking about this restoration thing, talking about this reintegration thing, talking about debt paid conference. When is the debt paid?
Okay, what is the debt paid? Well, we're going to get into that, but let us first remind our people who we are and what we do. First of all, listen, we're talking about ink to ink or incarceration to incorporation. This is a platform by Our Black Media, and the reason why we provide this platform is because we believe that stories matter. Why do we believe that stories matter? Well, number one, you may be enduring something, struggling or going through something that someone else is going through. And when you're able to share your story of your successes, be it occupationally, organizationally, relationally, whatever way it might be, then others will also begin to see that they too can become successful. So that is why we provide this platform for our returning citizens, also for relatives of returning citizens, and most definitely those who have resources. And that's what we'll be talking about tonight. How can returning citizens find resources? What is out there for us? We've heard so many times that there's help, but it seems like it is not in arm's distance. So what we got my boy Fred on, we got our guest, Ms. Katina. We're going to definitely allow her to tell us who she is. Fred is going to moderate, but I just wanted you to know who we are and what we do. We're also talking about filling in the gaps, where we are definitely trying with our young people to remove that skills gap. Fred is going to tell us a little bit about that. OAA Savannah, Offender Alumni Association. What is that? We encourage, we empower, and we educate our returning citizens, because number one, we want you to know that recidivism doesn't have to be what they say it is. We can be successful. Fred and I are witnesses to that thing. But nevertheless, without further ado, good evening, Fred. First of all, tell us a little bit about who you are and your organization, and then you can moderate and allow Miss Katina to let us know who she is.
All right, good evening. My name is Fred Green with Filling the Gaps Outreach, Inc. And what we're doing is restoring lives and repairing breaches. We're not talking about recidivism, but we talk about restoration, and we talk about successful reintegration. So tonight we have one of our phenomenal community members, Katina Wheeler, with ARCS, Advocates for Restorative Communities of Savannah. What's up, Katina?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How is everyone else?
Everybody good. Everybody's good.
Great.
Yeah, so we're thankful that you grace our presence this evening. And so we wanted to give you an opportunity to talk a little about yourself, what you're endeavoring to do. I know that we work a lot in the community together and dealing with arts, and also coming up, the When is the Debt Paid Conference, or the Coming Home forum or conference. And so you can kind of shed some light. I know me and you have been neck to neck doing that thing, helping Dr. Bryant with it for about 7 years now?
7 years. 7 years.
Long time at it. But guess what? I see on the clip before, when it comes to ads that come on, it said that steady making progress. So progress, even if it's been 7 years, progress, even if it's a little bit at a time, progress is progress nonetheless, even if it's an inch at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So tell
So
us a little
yes,
bit about what you got going on.
sure. We have a lot going on in the community, but this task force, created by Mayor Johnson during his first campaign. I met Mayor Johnson years and years ago as an alderman when I was the director for the Federal Reentry Center, and he always had a passion and a platform for restorative justice and reentry. And then, of course, I met both of you through the same kind of channel as Dr. Bryant, and we have been doing great work. I'm so proud of each one of you, and I'm glad to be a small token of your story. But this task force was generated, one, to highlight the success stories in the community, but also to bridge some of the gaps that we have, to address some of the challenges and barriers that those individuals have, not only transitioning back into the community from prison systems, but just the impact that they are having from simply being touched by the criminal justice system. It's a misconception that restorative justice, justice impacted, is only for those releasing from prison, and that's not correct. We're seeing barriers and challenges for people just simply being arrested. So this task force is here to bring community members and advocates together for one mission, and that is to address some of these barriers and challenges. And we have been doing a wonderful job. I know COVID tried to hold us back, but we've been making some steady progress, as you have said, Mr. Green. And we are very proud of the work that we're doing. So, with that, we announce our first Welcome Home conference in partnership with the When Is the Debt Paid conference hosted by ARCS. And this will be our very first welcoming home event during this administration with this task force. We want to celebrate all of those who are here in our community that need some assistance, and to bring some of these resources and agencies together in one room so that we can have some thoughtful, courageous conversations and also offer some services and highlight some of the great things that we are doing and the things that Savannah does have to offer.
Awesome. Man, I remember the first one with Eugene Brown.
Yes.
And Eugene Brown, they made a movie about him called Life as a King.
Yep.
Cuba Gooding Jr. Played the character of Eugene Brown.
Yes.
And I never forget that he said he did 20 years in federal prison, and he said he for bank robbery. And he said, I didn't rob the bank robbed me. But he started the chess house in the DMV area. So the collaboration, and he taught young people discipline through the game of chess. And so that were justice impacted youth. And so this is the type of thing that is going on where ARCS and Debt Pay Conference comes together in order to be able to highlight that and to help those, not like you said, not those that are returning, but those who have pending charges.
Right.
Don't forget about our exonerees. They have been found innocent through the Innocent Project, and they still face significant barriers. And so, so it's a powerful thing, Katina. And you talked about Dismas Charities when you was working with the Federal Halfway House. So they always come out. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so that is the Federal Residential Reentry Center here, contracted with the Federal Bureau of Prisons. And their mission and vision is healing the human spirit. So they contract with the Federal Bureau of Prisons to help those that are at the end of their federal sentence returning to the Chatham County and surrounding areas. So, the old term is halfway house. We don't like that term. We try to educate the public that this is not a halfway house. The old stigma of people being forced in a room during certain times and hours and mistreated and then led into the community. That's not what this is. This really is a holistic contractor that is out here doing wonderful stewardship work in the community, but also providing foundations and tools necessary for individuals who have been removed from these communities for years and now being expected to come back and, be successful citizens. And so they do a wonderful job over there. I'm very proud of the team and my successors. They are still heavily involved in the community, and they are one of our partners.
Awesome.
Fred, if I will, let me ask Katina a question or two. But before I do that, what up, David? I see David say hello, everyone. David Banner is joining us. Area Scott is also saying good afternoon. Good afternoon. They're watching. And I just definitely want to make sure we give shouts out to those that are listening. But you was telling us a little bit about ARCS and this welcome, correct me if I'm wrong, but this celebration or welcoming home, how the mayor has brought these two entities together. You shared a little bit about the about the debt paid, and I've been to a few of those as well. I love it because in that particular setting, you have job fairs, you have connection, you have network, and even also they provide food and clothing and things of that sort. So I love this debt paid conference, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But can you give us a little more clarity on what's going to take place with the mayor's new initiative? What can we look forward to seeing? Can you give us some practicalities in this?
Sure. So, like Fred said, we have been partners with Dr. Bryant and the When is the Debt Paid conference since its inception. Last year, we decided to revamp the When is the Debt Paid conference. And so we started discussing this collaboration with the task force. If you heard the mayor during his campaign trail, he talked a lot about this vision that he had with everybody having a seat at the table, and everyone included, all of our citizens, no matter their background, no matter their, racial or sexual preference, no matter if they, have done wrong in the past and they're trying to transition into a better life. He talks about this table and extending this table to everyone and making sure there's representation. And so one of immediately was create these task force, and ARCS was one of the first ones, making sure that we had a seat at the table and that there was a community voice and advocacy platform for those who have been impacted by the criminal justice system. So when thinking of that, we really wanted to revamp the When is the Debt Paid, but extend it to more of a celebration. There is this stigma of dreariness and anxiousness when individuals have to navigate our community that have these challenges. We wanted to be able to show that there are people here that support you, that are advocating for you. We have some great resources that some people just don't know about. And we have some great partners that are on this task force that really have a passion for this work. So we're putting everyone in one room. We're going to give some tips and some resources. We're going to be able to provide individuals with information on how to get their records restricted. Mini expungement clinic, which we're involved with the veteran law firm monthly. There's going to be a panel discussion with community resources and community agencies to discuss some of the challenges and barriers they see, but also solutions to those challenges and barriers. And then most important, we have a justice panel where we are listening to the direct population that we are serving, and not only their challenges, but highlighting and celebrating their successes. And we have a lot of successes, despite what people say, what the media shows us. There are a lot of success cases where people have, done a wrong for one reason or another, and they are out here making waves and they are triumphing, and we want to hear from them and be able to be encouragement for the next person.
Awesome. Thank you. And I appreciate it. And I'm not going to put you on the spot. The questions that I'm asking are basically questions that we want to make sure that our audience understands the benefits of what's going on. And can you help us to understand what the acronym ARCS, what does that mean?
So it stands for Advocating for Restorative Communities of Savannah.
Advocating for restorative communities of Savannah.
And it's definitely that we are an advocacy referral group. We hear the issues, we know the challenges and barriers, and we're advocating for change.
Gotcha. And the reason why I wanted you to say that is because so many returning citizens are wondering, is there someone helping? Is there someone that can help provide these resources? And now you're sharing with us that there is a resource called ARCS, and that you are looking into those issues, those foreseeable issues. And so can you tell us what made you become passionate about what's going on right now? Was it a story that you heard? Was it you just listening and seeing what's needed? What made you become passionate about this?
Well, my career started as a mental health parole officer. I'm just a kid from Kansas. I fell into this work kind of. I had a passion for mental health. I do have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And I was offered an opportunity at that time, they sold it as an opportunity to be a parole officer for this special unit. And it was going to be the mental health unit. So with my background, I helped start the first mental health units in Kansas. Mm-hmm. And from there, I just saw how hard, like most people who are naive, it was to come back to the community that they were born and raised in. These are not aliens. These are individuals that work at your bank, your post office, your grocery store. In every area, there are neighbors, our brothers, our sisters. And to see how hard it was for them to have paid a debt, so we say, and then reintegrate back into society. And so I started, as a mental health parole officer, creating these special units around Kansas. When I moved to Savannah in 2010, I was recruited by the Federal Reentry Center, was promoted to director. And again, I saw some of the same challenges in Savannah. Luckily, I had, a platform and a blueprint to overcome some of these barriers and to be able to create some awesome partnerships. And so that's how my work was. I just have a passion for advocacy for people who we have so easily thrown away.
Oh, cool. Hold on for just a minute. Listen, we got to pay some bills, so I want you to be ready. Be thinking, Ms. Katina. Fred, of course, have your questions ready. But right now, we got to pull to the side, pay a bill or two, and we'll be right back. So hold on just a minute. What up? Ain't the Ain't Incarceration to Incorporation. My partner Fred Green on me. And Marie is not here, but Marie will definitely be here with us in spirit. We have Ms. Katina Wheeler on. And what we're talking about is an upcoming event next week, Wednesday, on the 18th. It is a debt paid conference along with the mayor's ARC celebration, and Ms. Katina is going to explain a little more about what that is and what that looks like. Fred, by all means, if you have some questions, come on in. What up, Oof? I see you, Oof Ellis, all the way in Pula, hollering at us. What's going on, partner? Fred, you want to talk?
No. Katina, I think she hit on all cylinders, and what I would like to talk about and kind of segue into continue is we often keep talking about, and most of the funding and things that are geared toward reintegration. We keep having this discussion about recidivism. And you look at some grant proposals, it's always talking about recidivism. How can we begin to change because this platform, especially, and mostly all the platforms that are restorative justice minded, or from a restorative justice perspective, talks about changing the narrative, talking about using new language. So from your perspective, how can we transition from the focus on recidivism, which talks about rearrest, to restorative justice and successful reintegration? Because I think continuously using that term is what's perpetuating what's going on in our society. So from your perspective, what do we need to do to really hone in on changing that narrative?
I'm glad that you said that. So, you, along with some of our other ARCS members on the task force, we had a very fruitful discussion in the very beginning about saying returning citizens and the stigma of just saying that. And I'm glad that we have a group that is very understanding and can educate themselves. But then we have to be responsible for bringing that message into the community. And we decided that we would not use that term, that we needed to use justice impacted.
Right.
And the reason why is because when we're talking about restorative justice, we narrow in on those in the prison system when there are so many others that are in fact impacted. So we spoke earlier about, just a simple arrest and what an arrest can do to someone's life. So you're arrested, right? And you're held and you can't afford bail. What happens to you? You sit in jail. Sometimes for a year or two. And that has really happened. In the meantime, whatever roots or network that you have created on the outside is slowly disappearing. You've lost your job. If you have resources, those have disappeared. If you were the breadwinner in the house, there's now a hardship in that house. And that can happen all the way through docket or sentencing when you're found not guilty or you're just released because of the lack of evidence. That person still has to come out and rebuild their life. They still have to face the consequences of just simply the arrest and not being able to afford bond or having a means to a legitimate attorney to be able to assist them. So, the prison population is very easily identifiable. What we don't focus on and what we don't think about are those that are simply touched by the criminal justice system and the disparities in the way that, certain individuals are treated through the system and after.
Man, I like the way you peeled that onion back. You really peel that back, because when you talk about that, and that's why I brought that up, because we see these fundings and we have these conversations, and it's all the way about reducing recidivism. But you went so deep because you say, well, it ain't even about being rearrested. We talk about being arrested in the first place. We talking about, and you didn't even touch on, most of the people who've been innocently killed during a stop was for misdemeanor stops. They was for just regular stop that could have been avoided.
Right.
And yet, though, you ain't talk about a person even being able to be rearrested because their life ends as a result of it. And
Right.
so when you're talking about it, you're talking about coming in contact with the justice system as a whole and being impacted in one way or another. And I
Correct.
think something to really hone in on and really have a deep dive discussion about, and really peel back all the layers of the onions, because it's just about them being impacted all the way around, not just, well, if the person goes. So a lot of the funding, a lot of the stakeholders, if you're listening out there, a lot of the people who are supporters and who who are philanthropists or social entrepreneurs, start putting resources to just people who are justice system impacted as a whole. You know, it's not just about rearrest. So I like how you talked about that. Julius?
Well, before I ask this hard question, Ms. Wheeler, is there something specifically you want to say? Because I want to give you an opportunity before, because I got a hard question for you.
A hard question. Oh Lord. No, I appreciate what you all are doing. I appreciate even being able to speak on this platform. And if I touch one person or if I enlighten one person, I feel like I've done my job. So I don't know. I could speak about this all day and long. I don't know if there's any one thing burning, but I'm ready for the hard question.
Okay, and again, the questions that I have, you can answer it. It's not something that's personally against you or accusatory. But the conference is a debt paid. And what I want to hear from you is, what does that mean? Number one. And then number two, we've been working to try to help justice impacted people to reintegrate back into society. Do you believe that we are making visible strides, or are we simply just pushing political rhetoric?
You did save the hard question, didn't you?
Yes.
So, the short answer is yes. I definitely see the transformation in this area. Simply being able to have platforms and task force to sit on, to address and to discuss the hard questions, it is progress. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, this was unheard of, unfortunately. We had some groups that operated in silos, but to really address the issue and have power behind addressing the issue, it's a slow burn. It's a real slow burn. I do see the transformation, however. If we want to accelerate, right, is that we have to move out of our individual rooms, our individual counties and cities, and we have to have a whole table discussion, right? Everyone has to be at the table, at every area of the government. So, we like to push this on Department of Corrections and the Federal Bureau of Prisons, those that specifically deal with the penal system. But as I stated, this trickles down to how we train our officers, community advocacies, which we used to have and we don't have anymore, um, citizens review boards and panel discussions. This has to be a holistic approach involving much, much more than just the correction systems that we have today. It has to involve every area of government.
I have a question. So how do you begin? You talked about silos with everybody fighting for scarce resources.
Right.
How do you eliminate those silos? How can we, you got some, and we know it's all to be true. We got some chasing notoriety, some chasing money, whatever the case may be. How can we work together to eliminate those silos and come together as one unit to be able to facilitate and affect this change that we're talking about? What's the answer? Not
You
saying
know,
that
it,
you have the direct answer, but just what are your thoughts?
it takes the change agents, right? It takes the transformative leaders like Mayor Johnson, like Fred Green, like Julius Campbell. It takes those individuals to sit in each room and convince people to come into the big room with everybody else.
Yeah.
Um, and then it takes us putting our ego down. Are we concerned about who gets the attention? Or are we concerned about the solution, and solving people's issues and creating a better community for all of us? Because at the end of the day, this is not an individual issue. This is a community epidemic. So everyone is responsible for the change. Everyone is responsible for the push. And so it takes community advocates and people to use their platforms responsibly in order to convince everyone to work for the greater good.
I like that answer. I like that.
Yes,
We're
yes.
getting ready to turn this corner because I know you have to go, and I don't want to hold you up. This is the weekend, and we all tired and ready to relax. But what I want to do is I want to ask you one more question, and then see if Mr. Green has one, and then we'll give you the floor to conclude with your final message, and then we'll close in. So my final question to you is: you said that it takes all of us reaching every category. How can justice impacted people be of service? I know that you're trying to assist justice impacted people, but we also want to be a solution to the problem that's going on. So often there are bureaucracy or red tape that hinders us from becoming a solution to the problem. But how can we help?
So I have a twofold answer to that, right? First of all, you have to join the movement, right? We can sit on the sideline and we can complain and complain and complain about all of the challenges. We know what they are. We've identified them. We have 1,000 stories. We need people to come off the sidelines and join the movement. You find a task force. You find a discussion. You find the groups that are sitting in the rooms that are open to you serving your community and telling your story. And then I'm going to say the second part of it is what I told Fred for a long time is if you can't find the group, you create it. And no one, no matter what your background is, can stop you from creating your own platform. Nobody. You have that power. And you have to understand that you have that power. And so there's nothing more powerful than the individuals that we are serving coming together and deciding, I'm not only going to join the conversation, I'm going to create a platform that's going to expand the conversation. And now you've become a powerhouse yourself.
I like that. Fred, do you have a final question?
No, I think she answered my question. Did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Listen, I just keep it real. I want to make sure that the people understand, what's going on, how they can help. Listen, we appreciate you for coming on and sharing with us, and we will be there to see you in next week. And I just, again, whatever we can do to push the platform that all of us can come together to work. Thank you, ma'am, so much. Is there anything that you want to say in closing?
No, thank you all. I appreciate being able to come on and to have a voice. And if I don't say it enough, I am extremely proud of both of you individuals and who you are in this community. You mean something to me and you mean something to us. And so thank you so much for the work that you all
Well,
are
hold
doing.
on. You can't get off that easy, Katina. You got to address the three. Julius, you got to lead her into addressing the three target areas, the three target populations that are viewing. The stakeholders, the people that's incarcerated, and the people who are out who can make a difference, who may be struggling within the community. Those are three different.
What he said is we have a variety of people watching. We have those that are stakeholders. We have those that are in the community that don't know what's going on. We have justice impacted people. And so what he's saying, you can pick one of those or you can pick all three of those and share with them. What would you have them to do tonight?
Well, I'll pick all three. What I will have you to do, and I extend an invitation to join our platform and please become a member of the task force. We are open. I accept anyone and everyone who can contribute to the conversation and who has time to give and to sow into our community. If you need to reach me, you can email me at savannah arcs@gmail.com. Send me an email. I will link you into the group. We'll invite you in with open arms. We want to hear what you have to say. And that's for anybody, whether you're a stakeholder, whether you're justice impacted, or you just want to know what's going on.
Thank you so much. Listen, while we're here, y'all, we just love to give the platform to returning citizens, to relatives of returning citizens, resources, justice impacted. We want people to know that you are not alone. There is help. And in finding that help, you too can be successful. Listen, as we get ready to go, I want to say this. You know how I like to end my show. Number one, we may have started this thing out wrong, but check us out now. We are finishing strong, and you too can finish strong. We'll see you again next week on Ain't to Ain't. Marie, thank you. Chill out. Get you some rest, girl. We'll see you all next week. Good night.
Thank you, Katina. Good night.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, everybody.
I like that.